Howdy folks, TJ here. Kind of a fun experience that I'm now coming to the final issue of Atari Computing Magazine. And why I wanted to make a video about this is because for the last week, I've had no internet here at home. We've had some power outage issues. I'm up in Northern California where we've had tremendous amounts of snow. Up a little higher, but some here, icy roads, trees, poles breaking, lines going out, you name it. So no internet, which means, what do? Well, if you're frisky, you may do one thing. If you're old, like me, you read Atari magazines. One of my favorite magazines of the day was Atari Computing. This actually came after I was no longer into or using on a daily basis an Atari. Because around mid-1990s, when Atari went out of business, I did move on. These magazines come from the time period. This is issue number 1, September 1996. As we all know, I believe it was July of 96 when Atari officially sold or merged with JTS, and JTS then had all the rights to this, and then Atari started working on selling their Atari branding to Hasbro, which I think happened in 97. So a lot of what this magazine covers is from a time period where Atari, the parent company, the company we all loved, was gone. And this magazine was coming at a time where other magazines, the same year, 96, were going out of business and saying, we can no longer do this. So these blokes, a number of them, created a team and came out with Atari Computing Magazine. And for 4 years, it appears, from 96, September of, until 2000, they came out with their last issue to hit that. There was probably a little thing they put in the calendar, too, saying, if we're going to make it, we have to make it to at least this date, even though we know we're going to kind of go out of business or we're going to close shop, which they did know because of issue 14. There's a total of 16 issues of this magazine. First one came out September 1996. Their last one came out, January 2000. So basically it's about 3.5 years of publishing this magazine, English magazine that we could enjoy, to carry on the party, to find out who can do what companies are going to continue pushing the envelope and trying to take this community a little further, because we know when the parent company dies, things kind of settle down and people move on. Now, this is 25, 30 years later now, 23 to be exact, for the first issue, coming out and then ending in 2000. 23 years basically have passed. So the whole world of computing, retro computing, there's a rebirth like crazy right now for people that love retro computers, love old computers. These things cost $1 bazillion. The Falcon, I call it Falcon, I'm in the United States, they sell for $2,000, $3,000. It's crazy. So would they have envisioned that in this magazine? No way to know for sure, but I wanted to talk a little bit because I have been, like I said, power's been out. I've been reading, and I've not word for word, but I've went through all of these magazines other than the last one, issue 16. And I'm saving that for tonight. When I go to bed tonight, I don't have my iPhone to get on the internet because we have no internet here. I live up in the mountains. We don't have cell coverage. The best I can do is go upstairs with my cell phone, put it in the window, don't touch it. It'll grab a bar and I can make a call. That's about it on a good day. No data. Internet's down, extended, no idea when it's coming back. So I've been reading the crap load of stuff, and Atari Computing seemed the logical one because I have all the issues other than 2 and 3. So if you're watching this, know someone that has 2 and 3 that want to sell it, please let me know. Post the notes down below, link them into me somehow, because I'd love to buy them and just have a complete set because I dig this magazine. No, I'm not going to spend $100 for one, but yeah, a fair price on it. I would love to grab the last 2 issues that I don't have. But all the other ones, I went from cover to cover, front cover to back cover, and some articles I would surpass. Like, there's some music stuff in here. Atari was big in music, and I dig it. and I may explore it sometime, but it wasn't one I was going to sit there and read, for hours and hours. So I'd skim through some things, but a lot of the news, a lot of the programs and magic, all these desktop replacements that me, TJ, didn't really explore because I ended my realm of Atari with NeoDisk 2. NeoDisk 4 was eventually where they ended at. Geneva, never tried it. Never got in the multi-toss. Never did any of those multitasking operating systems. Stuff that I never got to explore. But I got to explore it through these magazines, and I get to explore it now through things like my Atari TT or Falcon that I have, that these books are becoming priceless now because I can sit here and read it and say, oh, I understand the lineage now. Do they still have it? Can I still download it? Did they actually have somebody past 2000 make up a newer version? All that's to be seen by me because I haven't explored it all. But there's so much that I'm learning along the way from this old, outdated magazine that had 16 issues in its entirety. And I'm going to read number 16 tonight, and it's going to be fun. Kind of a roller coaster because when this one came out, it was sad. Atari went out of business, basically. But then I saw the excitement like today of retro computers, people enjoying the hell out of it. Many, many decades later, these guys were kind of doing at the time of, okay, PC is the thing, Macs are the thing, Linux is the thing. All these other things are the thing other than the Ataris and Amigas that are being carried on by people kind of like me that were still excited about it, that continued using it for as long as they could. I didn't last as long as others. I'm trying to remember when I purchased my first Apple Mac, and it was probably around the time the Milan was coming out, which is around this time. I was considering it. I didn't do it. I jumped on the Mac bandwagon. I did get a PowerBook Duo 280C with a Duo dock and a 17-inch monitor. I did buy Magic Mac, and I did run some Atari programs from it. So I did continue on a little bit in fun, because around the mid-90s, later 90s, I kept the spirit of older computers alive by buying a Next Cube, by buying a B-Box with BOS on it. I didn't leave the worlds of Atari in the past. I did professionally move on, but I did get rid of all my Ataris. I forget what I did with my Mega 2 ST and my Atari 800. I've said it before. What did I do with them? I think I gave my Atari 800 away for free at a thrift store. I have a feeling I did the same thing from a Mega 2. I don't think I would have sold it on the internet back then because it was still pretty fresh and new. I don't remember. But what I do know is that today, in today's world, I'm part of a small Amiga community. Not that I'm an Amigan. I do have over here a next-gen Amiga, which, to tell you the truth, I may at some point move on from it because I'm kind of frustrated, even though about 2 years ago I said, that's it, I'm done. I've continued on because I have friends there that are Amigans, and they make fun of my Ataris. But I go to a yearly Amiga festival called the Ami West here in Sacramento. I love meeting the folks there, and I've met some great friends, and I continue to use this next-gen Amiga. I did try some older Amigas. I've had an Amiga 1000, and I even had a 4000T at one point. I tested it because I wanted to experience it. But when I did, I knew for older stuff, Atari was it for me. And then some other 8-bit stuff like Sinclair and such. So this magazine reading, I'm kind of glad the internet went out, but then again, I'm not, because I got to get some stuff done. But it's given me time to read an old magazine. What is old is new again. And there may be some versions, for example, Genie. Jinnee. I want to say Janae, but it's Genie, is a desktop replacement that I never used, but looks really cool. That may have been one that if I stuck with Atari, I would have gravitated to from a NeoDisk. Or maybe I would have continued with NeoDisk and went up to 4 and got Geneva and did their, well, it is multitasking, but it's cooperative multitasking versus preemptive multitasking like Magic. So, what's Magic? Well, like Magic Mac, they made Magic for, you could use them on other computers like a PC and a Mac, and you could run Atari software on it. And there's all these other desktop replacements that you could put on your older Ataris, and there's Mint or Multitask. All this stuff that I never did get that far because I moved on from Atari and day to day and eventually got rid of my stuff and then went Apple and been an Apple head ever since. I do use Linux also, but I find that my enjoyment, my love, my passion, my blood is in Atari. And then some other stuff too, like Sinclair. I've fallen in love with Sinclair, and I'm a United States bloke. What the hell's a United States guy falling in love with Sinclair? Because of the Next. The Next is a newer Sinclair computer that took on the lineage and have the original designer that worked at Sinclair make the Next case and keyboard and all those things. And then some people that were part of the Sinclair world cut together and made a Kickstarter that made a bitchin' ass computer that I've fallen in love with. And I'm loving all this older stuff. So I'm on to my last issue. I get to read this tonight. Like I said, it's a roller coaster. So I've been going through the ups and downs. It started with a down, Atari leaving, but then an up that people are keeping it going, and then you're reading it, and then as you're reading it, another Atari magazine is left, or a company in the United States or UK or wherever are no longer going to be in business, or they decided to stop Atari and only work on this. Calamus, which is a great desktop publishing program for the Atari, basically at some point started making it for Windows and other operating systems. And then Germany, it was kind of like one of the last businessy contingents that held on to Atari for a long time because of Calamus. Desktop publishing things that they continued using for a while. But then eventually it all dried up. And then Atari Computing in issue 14 said, we're gone, but we've got the rest of the year to go. We've got 14, which you're now reading, 15 and 16 to go, and then a big show, a millennial show to put on and call it a day. So it's been a fun roller coaster. These magazines will still be able to be used after I get done with 16 because I'm going to go back and reread something about Geneva, for example. I want to try NeoDesk 4 and Geneva. Never used Geneva before. And how did 4 differentiate itself from 2? And I get to experience all that stuff again. It's so exciting. And I'm almost 60. I'm using Ataris. I'm buying Ataris that I never owned in the day. I didn't own a Falcon. I was considering it, but nope, I moved on. Was I looking at Milan? Yes, but I moved on. TT came out in 90 or whatever. I never bought that one because I couldn't afford it. I bought a Mega 2 ST instead a little before that and used the hell out of it up until 90-something when I finally decided to move on. So what's this video about? Kind of just my little roller coaster. The power went out. I made the best of it. Power came back, but I have no internet. Still don't have internet. So today I'm making videos, and I just picked up. I just put 15 down. I went through it. Time for me to read number 16. And how does it end? I don't know. Well, I do kind of know. They stopped publishing, but a quick read in here. Atari Today, a magazine, was coming out right at the end of this one. It's called Atari Today, and it was a 20 to 26 page magazine, so much smaller than this, but somebody was picking up the realm saying, oh, I think we can continue on, but not quite a magazine that's, how many pages is this? Let me look. 44, 40, there's no page numbers on this. There's some ad, 47, 48, 49, 50, basically a 52-page magazine at the end. So this Atari Today, I don't think I've ever heard of it. So now I get to go explore that. Go on the internet, see if I can download it, check it out. But I do prefer printed copies. So anyway, that's it. That's the video. Hopefully I get internet soon so I can post some of these videos I've been working on. But do you love Atari magazines? Do you still reminisce about the 90s? And did you get as far as, look, it says January 2000. These people continue on. And then now it's March of 2023, and people like me are still using computers. I just purchased this TT over the weekend. I had a TT before. Unfortunately, I had to move on from it for monetary reasons. Kicked myself for having to do it. I said, one day I'm going to own one again, and I own one now. And I'm glad I have the magazines to go back and peruse and pick up where I left off. How fun is that? So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I get internet soon so I can post these videos. Until then, take it easy. Bye.